Hello, everybody. My name is Marta Macias from Technological Corporation of Andalucía. Welcome to this webinar that has been organized in the frame of the EU Green Week. So just a warm welcome, and let's review a few recommendations for our session today. So please keep all your microphones and cameras muted. We will have a short question and answer session at the end of the webinar, so you can write all your questions and thoughts in the chat. This webinar is being recorded. I hope this is okay for you. And we encourage you to join us in our social media. You can use the hashtag EU Green Week and also tag the EERES4WATER project, which is the project that is organizing this webinar. So let's have a quick look to the agenda today. We will start with a project overview. This is to be discussed by my colleague Germán López. Then I will give you some hints about what is open innovation. Our colleague Alberto from Iberdrola will provide some information about their success case. And then Fabián Varas will review Conecta, a new open innovation platform. And as I said before, we will have a short question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So nothing further from my side. So I guess that Germán, please, if you could please start with your presentation, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marta. I think you are already okay. Thank you very much, Marta. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. My name, as my colleague Marta has said, is Germán López, and I will try to summarize the main aspects of the EERES4WATER project that we are developing during the INTERREG Atlantic Area Programme that was approved 2 years ago. As it is shown on the slide, you can see that the EERES4WATER project tries to promote the energy-water nexus through the use of renewable energy technologies and energy efficiency measures in the water cycle. This project is developed by 11 partners coming from 5 countries located in the Atlantic area. These partners, you can see them on the screen. They are coming from France, like Campus Spirit, and from UK, like Cardiff University, from Ireland, like Moray, that is a technological center and located in the University College of Cork, and an SME, that is Resolute Marine Limited, that is working on the development of a very innovative technology devoted to wave energy. Also, we have partners from Portugal, the University of Évora, and the Energy Agency of the Interior in an area. And at the same time, we have different partners from Spain, located either in Andalucía or in the Canary Islands, like the Technological Institute of the Canary Islands, and Wethen, that is also an SME that is working on the project, and the solar platform of Almería that is working with inside the Center of Environmental Research of the Ministry of Spain, and the University of Seville and CTA, the Technological Corporation of Andalucía, that is a private-public partnership that is devoted, as my colleagues will be presenting later on the R&D, on the innovation aspects, and to promote collaboration between different partners. We will delve into that later on. At the same time, in our project, we have different associated partners from different typologies, private companies, regional agencies, the Ministry of the Canary Islands, the Portuguese Institute of Solar Energy, and different water utilities coming from Wales and from Ireland at the same time. Okay, what is our project? Our project is EERES4WATER, and the main features you can see on the slide. This has a budget of 3.1 million euros and a time duration of 3 years. This was granted by the INTERREG Atlantic Area under the program priority of fostering resource efficiency. As we will see during the development of the project, we are focusing on the development of renewable energy technologies and energy efficiency, but at the same time, our main aspects is that we are dealing the water energy nexus under a whole umbrella, in the sense that we are trying to address different aspects, not just technical aspects, not just social aspects, not just institutional aspects, all of them at the same time, in the sense that we think that in order to address jointly the relationships between water and energy and water, which till recently has not been addressed globally at the same level, this has to be done under this whole analysis. In this sense, we are trying to develop different technologies. We will see later on. I invite you to go to the website to delve into the different technologies that are being developed. Photovoltaics, regarding wave energy, regarding energy efficiency, regarding reverse osmosis, and things like that. But at the same time, at the institutional level. And one thing that we will delve into this during this session is the social aspects regarding open innovation, because we consider that this collaboration between partners, different stakeholders, this multi stakeholder approach is very important in order to speed up the process of delivering good results for the water energy nexus, in order to develop better solutions. According to this, we think that we will be able to develop strategies, policies, technologies, and a whole framework that is going to contribute to obtain some good numbers for the Atlantic region. Which is the challenge? The challenge, we all know that water is important for energy and energy is important for water, but this has to be addressed globally. Our impression at the beginning is that at the policy level, for example, you can see that either regional or national governments are dealing with water issues and are dealing with energy issues, but in an independent way. We want then to develop policies that are going to be interrelated. This must be done thanks to this holistic approach that we humbly try to develop. In that sense, our partners, from all the partners that we have indicated previously, are working together collaboratively. This is something very important, developing technological products, but at the same time developing drafts that could be used by decision makers, and we are developing strategies and tools in order to take appropriate decisions according to the special features of every single country and region. In the end, we want to provide tools that are going to address this main challenge, but at the global level. Specific objectives. You can see the specific objectives on that slide. As said before, we are trying to develop different technological solutions, a bunch of different solutions, not just in renewable energies, but also in energy efficiency, addressing the main aspects in the water cycle, in the supply, and all the aspects regarding the cycle of water, and developing different technologies that are going to be used in different parts of the process, and every single solution that is being developed could fit better depending on the process we are analyzing in every case, desalination and things like that, for example. ICT tools are being developed by, for example, in this case, by the Technological Institute of the Canary Islands in order to help to take appropriate decisions for policymakers. One thing that is very important is the establishment of cooperation agreements between the different stakeholders that are working. In this sense, my colleagues later on will provide further details, but the interrelationship between academia and the private sector is essential in order to speed up the process of new technologies that need to be developed in order to mitigate the climate change, to improve the energy efficiency in the water cycle, and all these things that need to be developed and need to be developed soon. And at the same time, it's very important the awareness campaigns that are being developed in order to make people know that this is an important issue. Water and energy plus food are probably the most important issues that society is facing right now. As said before, there are several aspects that are being dealt at the same time at the institutional level, at the social level, and at the technical level, which are the main aspects according to these three pillars. At the institutional level, we are developing a quantitative storytelling from the different regions that are involved, eight regions in the 5 countries that we indicated at the beginning. And this is important because we know the backgrounds and we know from experienced people working on the water energy nexus, their previous experience and which are their ideas in order to solve the problems that were not solved previously. We are developing at the same time, as I said before, an ICT tool. One thing that is very interesting is the labeling that is being developed for specific products and processes related to water energy nexus, and also the Transnational Service on Innovative Energy and Water Technologies, SIU, that we call them, and you can get more information from the website. At the social level, this is something that my colleague Marta and Fabian, and also from Iberdrola, talking about the Perseo, will delve into, but this is very important. Open innovation strategies. If we want to develop new technologies and we want to solve problems, we have to work collaboratively, not to reinvent the wheel, just to take advantage of previous developments and to make innovations that are going to reach the project, are going to reach the market. In that sense, we address TRL issues very close to 7, 8. What's new at the technical level? There is a bunch of different solutions, low cost wave-driven desalination that is being developed, taking advantage of the energy carried out in the waves, the low cost reflector designs for CPC type solar collectors in photochemical and photocatalytic reactors, novel storage technologies with photovoltaic generation. You know that photovoltaics jointly with PV, jointly with wind energy, are now decreasing costs a lot. They are now the cheapest source of energy in order to generate electricity, and we have to take advantage of this dramatic change that is very positive in order to take advantage of these renewable sources for improving the energy efficiency of the water processes. A bunch of different solutions that are being developed by the different partners in the consortium. The impact that we expect to have is established there. I would like to highlight that we think that the renewable installation capacity will be increased by 5% regarding the water and energy nexus, and above all, the better positioning of the region in the creation of new value chains. That is very important in order to make all the different actors work together. The different target groups that are involved, you can see them. we want to work with all the different actors that we consider are very necessary in order to develop these solutions, the private sector, and we are working with these companies of the different profiles that are shown on the slides, public organizations, in order to take the message longer distances and to reach more people. And we think that the society is very important. In that sense, the academia plays a very important role. Just to finish, because I think it has taken a little bit longer, just to mention some key aspects, we have to take advantage of the very huge decrease in the cost of renewable energy sources, especially PV and wind. But if we want to have this scenario we have of mitigating the climate change, that is one of the most important problems that population is facing right now, we have to take advantage of new technologies, not just PV and wind, but for example, other renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency technologies. And in that sense, in order to reduce the cost, we have to develop the learning curve and to make the process. And we have to speed up the process, because if we want to reach the goals established in the Green Deal and the different national plans, for example, in Spain, the National Integrated Energy Plan, we have to develop new solutions that have to reach the market. We have to take into consideration that there has been a huge increase in digital technologies. For the water processes, this is vital, because we are going to manage a lot of data, and this data can provide us a lot of information in order to improve the different processes. It's a fact that the electricity is a winner in the energy system right now, and it's expected that final energy consumption right now in electricity is around 20% and will be around 50% in 2050. So it will be a huge increase, and this electricity must be generated by renewable energy sources. Otherwise, it would be a dramatic situation for the planet. So electricity must be developed by renewable energies, and these renewable energy technologies must be developed. And for example, projects like this and many others could contribute to the development of these technologies. The development of policy instruments is vital, because the governments need to have those alternatives. And of course, they have to ensure that they are going to apply and going to apply it soon, that situation. And sorry, because I think it has taken a little bit longer, but this was my main message. And I would like to just say that we keep at your disposal for every question you could have later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Herman. Your presentation was great about the EERES4WATER project. So I will share my screen now in order to give you some hints about what open innovation is. So give me just 1 second. I hope everything is ready in a minute. Okay, so here there is a lot of people. Perhaps some of you are already familiar with the open innovation concept. Perhaps others don't know anything at all about open innovation. But what is interesting here, perhaps, is that some of you may already have done some open innovation actions, but you don't know that you have done open innovation, because the concept could be quite new for you. So let's review very quickly what we are going to discuss today. We would answer these questions like, what is open innovation? Why is it needed? Also, how is it implemented? There is a lot of tools that could be used in order to conduct open innovation activities. And finally, I would like to give you some take-home messages. So regarding the concept of open innovation and why is it needed, we could say that in the current situation, innovation is a need. companies have to be more and more competitive, especially with the COVID situation and everything that is happening right now. Also, the market changes really, really fast, and sometimes it's difficult for the R&D departments to keep the pace and follow the market. And also, there is a lot of competition in R&D projects funding. Nowadays, there is a lot of applications, and also the funding bodies ask us to be more intelligent and smart when shaping the projects and to develop them in a way that they are more profitable. So in this scenario, we have to pursue a new paradigm of innovation, better effectiveness, better efficiency, and in this context, open innovation could be a key aspect. So here you can see a couple of quotes that are actually really interesting regarding what is open innovation. Your R&D department is the best of the world, which could be, let's say, the traditional approach, versus the world is your R&D department. So in open innovation, the key idea is that you have to cooperate with everybody in your surrounding innovation ecosystem. So this means to work with external actors, like, for example, startups, academia, and even competitors, but also at internal level, because perhaps if you are part of a large corporation and you have your R&D department at the central location, but you have also an industrial site in another region, perhaps the guy that is at the plant with the pipes, the vessels, and the reactors, he is going to have a lot of knowledge about what is going there, and he can provide perhaps some information or ideas or tips to the guys from the R&D department. So we could say that the key to open innovation is to understand innovation as an open system in which internal and external actors of the organization take part. So here we would like to compare internal innovation versus the open innovation. In internal innovation, there is a limitation because sometimes available resources are limited, especially money, staff, and so on. There is also a limit related to the internal know-how and the technology availability. Also, the R&D department and the rest of the organization may collide at some points because you know that sometimes R&D interested may or may not be aligned with the company strategy. And finally, in some cases, there is a lack of motivation because of the invisibility of R&D results. You know that when you are working on R&D, sometimes not all the results reach the market. So this could be not encouraging for part of the staff. About open innovation, there is no limitation because of resource availability. Since you will be cooperating with others, your organization is not going to be the one in charge of providing all the resources. There is also a multidisciplinary approach to the development of the different concepts, technologies, and processes. Also, there is an access to disruptive technologies, a wider scope where there are no restrictions due to objectives, culture, or internal policies. I guess that all of us have experienced how we have to discuss internally about going ahead with a project. And also there is an extra motivation, because we want to change the world and cooperate with others. So the next slides, you can see some information or some ideas about why is open innovation essential. So actually, no business can invest the equivalent to hundreds of teams working in the latest and the trending technologies, not Pfizer or Amazon or something like that. And also, it's really, really important to consider that no business can cover every innovation fronts of all the areas in the sector or in the market. You know that more and more we are asked to consider sustainability aspects, which include environmental, technical, economical, social aspects. We also have to consider everything related to exploitation, communication, and sometimes it's really difficult to have all that knowledge in the same company at the same time. Also, only businesses that use open innovation for their R&D are maintaining their competitive advantages in the long term. We could have as an example the pharma industry or technology companies. So here you can find the first take-home idea. And it's that open innovation allows to take advantage of the best of internal innovation, combining it with external one, producing the results exponentially. And about the added value of open innovation and why it could be interesting for you or your organization, we could identify many advantages that are offered by this kind of a strategy. First one would be efficient access to innovation, because the organizations can avoid starting investigation all over. You know that it seems that sometimes it seems that you are starting again and starting again and taking care of the same ideas without further progress. Also, you could accelerate the innovation because you are going to reduce the creation cycles and you will be shortening the time to market. At the same time, you will experience a cost reduction because this would happen mostly at the idea generation phase and also at the development phase. And then also another aspect that is really relevant here is the talent search, because companies are able to identify and attract human capital. Other advantages could be the identification of new business opportunities and access to new markets. Also, since you will be interacting with other people, you will improve your company network. At the same time, you will be increasing the staff internal motivation. You will increase your creativity, your proactivity. You will also conduct some training with your staff. And also, you will be improving your brand positioning in the market and also among consumers. So just to sum up, you will have a better competitive position, sorry. So how is it implemented? Perhaps you're asking. So we have to think that open innovation can be applied to different fields. Perhaps R&D field is the more straightforward approach, but also if you have a look at this chart, you will see that, for example, marketing, sales, branding, and market research are also really relevant in the field of open innovation. I think that almost all of us have seen these campaigns in social network and media that you can co-create your own pair of trainers or your kitchen design or something like that. There is also open innovation. So here in this chart, you can see the classification of open innovation tools by cost of capital, time frame to obtain results, degree of integration, and phase of innovation. So on the left side, you have the intensity capital of use, high, moderate, and low. On the right side of the chart, you have the degree of integration. This is related of how the company interacts with the different actors and how this is aligned with the company overall strategy. And then on the bottom of the chart, you can see the different phases of innovation. You can see discovery, crafting, and deployment. This chart also includes a couple of time frames for the impact. You have on the left side the long-term impact horizon, and on the right side the mid-term impact horizon. So actually, if we have a look to the different groups of tools for open innovation, on the left side bottom area, you have scouting missions, hackathon, challenge prize, and sharing resources. These are like the most simple approaches that you could do in your organization, but you have to keep in mind that the results are going to happen in the long term. Because, for example, for sharing resources, scouting missions, these could be things that may take some time. And in the middle section of the chart, you have the tools that require a moderate intensity capital of use, but are more devoted to the crafting or scale-up phase. This would be the accelerator, the incubator, the strategic partnership, and the excavator. And when at the beginning of my presentation, I said that perhaps some of you are already doing open innovation without knowing it. I was referring, for example, to a strategic partnership, because this could be the traditional cooperation between the academia, an university, or a research center and a company. So yes, you are doing open innovation. And on the right side of the chart at the top, you can see the tools that require a higher intensity capital of use. And this could be the acquisition and the corporate venture capital. So here you can see some examples of large brand owners that are nowadays conducting open innovation. So you have, for example, Disney, which has an acceleration program. You have also Johnson & Johnson, who opened an innovation center. You have also Google, which has these Google entrepreneurship campuses around the world. So you have a lot of examples of nice practices for open innovation. So finally, some take-home messages just to sum up. Open innovation is a powerful tool in order to increase your competitiveness. This is a quick way to solve challenges, and in our case, we would be talking about climate change or sustainability-related ones. There are a lot of open innovation tools, as we have seen in this chart that we have shared previously. And once desirable open innovation tools are identified, it's recommended to define an open innovation strategy that can be aligned with the company R&D strategy and the whole organization. So I provided you before some examples about open innovation tools and companies that are doing that, but we have to keep in mind that everybody can do open innovation, not only large corporations or brand owners. And finally, other organizations might be still unfamiliar with open innovation, but as I said before, most of them are already doing some kind of open innovation without calling them open innovation as such. And this would be mainly strategic partnerships. So that's all from my side about open innovation, the key concept. Here you have our email address in case you want to know more about open innovation. So I will go now for our next speaker. This is Alberto from Iberdrola. So if you could please share your success case, that would be excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I was mute. I was saying that thank you very much, Marta. Hi, everyone. And we are very pleased to be invited today by Corporación Tecnológica Andalucía to this event. To be able to share with you what we think actually is the knowledge we developed through years of intensive work around open innovation. I don't know, actually, first of all, if you can see my screen. I'm trying to share the presentation.
Not yet.
Not yet? Because I can see kind of like a red square around my screen. Yeah, okay. That's great. So as I was saying, thank you very much. I will try actually to put some of the points that Marta was describing previously on what we do actually on the real life, let's say on the real context. Being honest with you, we've been working actually with startups for more than 10 years now. And we've been actually doing open innovation without even knowing that we were doing it, right? Because we have always understood innovation as looking for research, collaborating with other entities, and actually trying to bring up the most of the startup ecosystem and the academia ecosystem to our company. So that's to say, I would actually to start briefing let's say the technology overview that we've seen. Germán was mentioning at the beginning that not only clean power generation technologies are vitally important right now, but we need to start thinking on other, let's say, fields that we were not thinking before in terms of, I will not say mitigating climate change, but fighting climate change, which are of a lot of importance right now, apart from the power generation market, as I was saying, that are the end users of electricity, such as, and the heat, transport, and other, let's say, industry uses. So just to put it in the context, I mean, Iberdrola has been working with electricity power generation sources since more than 20 years right now. In the last 2 decades, we've been promoting wind, solar, both wind, offshore and onshore technologies, but as well, hydro and other ways of generating clean electricity that has been maturing throughout these 2 decades. And we've seen actually that this decade where we have the technology available, cost ready, and effectively technically feasible to be implemented as a deployment decade for these technologies to take off. But we are seeing actually, as we were discussing perfectly before, is that other technologies are in an earlier stage of maturity at the moment and need actually this improvement or this boost to finally reach the commercial, let's say, maturity. We are talking about heat pumps and about electric vehicles for electric mobility that are nearly to the, let's say, to the break-even point where we see the cost of those technologies comparable with the technology we've been using for these years, right? So we are at the edge of reaching this point and actually really pushing to the deployment phase of those technologies globally, because as I was mentioning before, these are of vital importance to decarbonize the economy if we want to really success on fighting climate change. So that said, And I didn't mention this before, Perseo is the corporate venture capital arm of Iberdrola. That means that this is the place within the corporate, the corporation, sorry, where we liaise and we engage with the, let's say, with the startup ecosystem in different ways, but always trying to be aligned with the technologies that are emerging from the business at the same way that we are looking for them in the venture. As I was mentioning, Perseo Ventures was born more than 10 years ago. It's right now backed with more than 120 million euros. More or less the split is that we have nearly invested already 80 millions, and we have available 40 more at the moment that will be expanded, I'm sure, in the future to keep on pushing for those technologies and for businesses that are vital, let's say, important for our economy to get decarbonized. And what we do from here actually is that we try to be, let's say, the tip of the arm, no, the effort that we are doing to identify the trends that in the future will be of really relevance in the energy sector. So we try actually to put the company at the forefront of those technologies by liaising with these startups and with these organizations in a very agile and a very flexible way. And for doing that, actually, we kind of like structure our work in different streamlines. Just to summarize, I will be speaking through the presentation on the different things that we do. First of all, we do scouting very actively. We have meetings and we have one-to-one sessions with more than, let's say, maybe this is already a low case, but around 300 startups every year, and we have a database with more than 2,000 reference and contacts of people that we engage, and we keep actively seeking this collaboration and following actually how our development of the technologies through time. As a corporate venture, we do investments. That's, let's say, one of the most traditional, let's say, activities that we do from the sale. We have currently 8 companies in our portfolio that I will be speaking to you about. But it's important to remark here that the investments that we undertake from Perseo are completely aligned with, as I was mentioning before, the technology vision of the company, and actually the technology, not only in terms of which are the technologies as well, but as well in markets, where we see that there is a need of or a push for let's say taking clean energy technologies to the next level. As a previous let's say case for the investments, we do pilots, and we actually we are very happy to say that we engage more than 20-25 pilots annually with the different businesses of Iberdrola. That's or might be, or I'm not sure that would be something very clear for everyone, but basically the businesses that we have, the main legs in Iberdrola, first of all, are electricity networks, transmission and distribution, depending on the markets, renewable assets, but as well we have what we call actually the commercial business, where we are opening these new frontiers, coming from the electric mobility to the hydrogen projects to the decarbonized hard-to-abate sector. So here we engage with these pilots to these, let's say, 3 businesses very actively, creating synergies actually to test this technology in the real environment, which is a very beneficial use case actually for those companies before moving to let's say further steps. The fourth action we do here, this is one of the most recent, let's say, endeavors that we have started from a couple of years ago. Since 2019, we really understood what was the definition of open innovation, and we started to promote these challenges. Where we, first of all, we come to our business needs, and they told us, which are the real experts on the field of the needs of the company. They tell us, hey, we have this problem. We see that there would be a possibility of improvement here. Let's try to seek for the best solutions that could be ready or nearly ready in the market, not only in the startup ecosystem, but as well in the academia and other parts of the, let's say, of the technology development chains that could be of benefit. So we started doing these startup challenges, which we call for companies to solve a specific problem that later on through the award winners could be implemented through pilots, and later on, who knows, translating to investments or commercial relationships. So that said, we have recently as well started a fifth leg of work this last year that we call the Venture Builder. So from the activities from 1 to 4, the way that we understand the market is that we try to bring the knowledge and the expertise from the outside to the inside of the company, right? In trying to speed up, right, our processes. Sometimes, you know, the fact of being a big company, it's good for let's say undertaking big capital intensive projects and so on. But in terms of flexibility and being, let's say, speed on doing things, on adapting, let's say, market shifts, is not that good. So Venture Builder, the way that we understand is actually we try to do the opposite. Is try to take the knowledge that we have developed through years in the company and translate it into new companies in the market. So in here, it's very important as well the open innovation, as Herman was mentioning, because we need actually to liaise and we try to collaborate through relationships and through different partnerships with entities, with companies, private and public, to create these new companies where our focus actually basically on places where we see that there is a gap or a market or the market is not mature yet. That's why we are focusing on electrification on transport sectors, and we are actually trying to create these companies, to create these companies that could be actually a real game changer in the future of the decarbonization or economy. Most probably you've seen in the news recently a company called EERES4WATER. EERES4WATER has been the first, let's say, success case of this new task, of this new line of work, where we actually try to promote the manufacturing chain of electrolyzers for producing green hydrogen from here in the Iberian Peninsula, and finally has been translated into a really successful agreement with Cummins, an American industrial company that will be developing and will be manufacturing these electrolyzers from here. Briefly mentioning our portfolio, as I was covering, it's really aligned actually with the work and actually the business interest of Iberdrola. Just to mention a few cases here, we have been collaborating, for example, with the Wallbox, that is a leader in charging solution for electric vehicles, both residential and commercial clients, and not only by taking the company and investing in Wallbox, but as well, you know, in enhancing the electric mobility through our commercial business. We can say that we are really proud actually in collaborating with them. And that mentioned, we have, for example, Valentia, which is a company as well from here, from Spain, that is promoting energy efficiency and electrification through different, let's say, demand response measures and technologies that help us shaping the demand behavior of the customers. We have a very successful case as well with STEM. STEM is an American company which is specialized on not only installing behind the meter storage for residential and commercial clients, but as well in creating the software needed for managing the loads and for actually shifting peaks and being able actually to reduce the energy requirement from the clients, which is good. But we have other cases as well related to off-grid solar projects, which are as well very beneficial and very well needed in some regions of the world where electrification is not as developed as it could be in the European market, right? I was mentioning previously that doing pilots and collaborating with startups is very important for us. So these are some of the examples of the companies that we have working with. Some of them are coming actually as a result of the challenges that we've been launching. Home Hub, for example, they were engaged in a really interesting scenario where we are actually trying to promote what we call the Airbnb for the parking slots for the charging vehicle, and so many others that I will be actually very happy actually to explain more about in the Q&A if you have any curiosity. As mentioned before, The startups challenger has been very, very successful for us. We have launched more than 13 in the last year and a half, and we are actually expecting to ramp up and to launch more, because we see that the community is very active actually on being able to provide a solution to these gaps that are of benefit for the economy. Just to mention that currently we have a startup challenge open for the agrivoltaic solutions that we call. We've been seeing that we can improve the land use in our photovoltaic solar farms. So this challenge try to let's say to bring a solution, or to bring let's say a way of combination, other ways of improving the let's say the economy in the rural areas through agriculture or livestock. But as well promoting the renewable energy in this area. So we are actually trying to bring up, and this is open actually until 11th of June this month. So we'll be very happy actually to see applications that are coming up from as well this event. As a summary of what we were doing, as I was saying, and this is something that is increasing from the day after day. We are very actively on this scene, and we are actually very happy to see the ecosystem that we are creating, where the startups come to us not only for an investment or for specific program, but as well seeking for advice and seeking for an active conversation to see how innovation can benefit from upstream and downstream relationships in the ecosystem. And with that, I wanted actually to wrap up with some of the lessons that we learned through open innovation that could be actually very, very, very interesting for us. First of all, we are actually doing innovation being strategically aligned with the business and with the vision actually that our corporate has in the energy transition has been very key for us, helping on identifying which are actually let's say the most suitable technologies and the best, let's say, business case that could be ready for solving real projects in real life. Open innovation has brought to us a huge potential, through these new endeavors that we have in the state, the challenges in particular, but as well the venture builder, where we've seen that trying to collaborate with other entities that could have a different, let's say, overview of the market and a different knowledge than the one that you have could be very important actually to boost and to promote technologies that in the end could be translated into real business cases. And in the end, being flexible actually on the outcome that you can expect from relationships. Sometimes you are attacking to create a business and to create a specific pilot, but in the end, the outcome could be a really good, let's say, contract or a very good relationship with a partner that we were not expecting in the beginning, and in the end, could affect and could boost your benefits and your, let's say, change or impact, in ways that you were not expecting in the beginning. So that's more or less what I wanted to wrap up and to summarize to you. I would be more than happy actually to reply to questions in the Q&A sessions and to liaise through email or any other way of communicating with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alberto. It has been really inspiring, your presentation. So we can continue to the last presentation today by my colleague Fabian. If you are interested in open innovation, perhaps you are going to find a small approach that you could do for open innovation activities. So Fabian, please go ahead.
Thanks, Marta. I'm trying to put on the screen my presentation. Hope you all can see it now.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Let me just 1 second as I'm losing. Okay, you can see it now? Full screen?
I cannot see it.
Apparently not. Okay, let me just try it again. I think now it's better.
Yes, now
it's
we
okay
can see.
now? Okay. So hi everybody. Thanks, Marta. For me, it's a real pleasure for me to introduce you to Connecta. Through this webinar, we have been discovering the benefits of starting an open innovation strategy within our organizations. We have seen why it is necessary due to the new innovation challenges, how it can extend our innovation capabilities, and how it can be modeled to fit everybody or every organization's type and requirements. But you might still be wondering, this is all very nice, but how do I make it a reality in a cost and efficient way? Well, the answer could be, the simple answer will be by making the most of one of the available open innovation platforms. And now let me talk to you about Connecta, CTA's open innovation platform that offers you all you need to set your open innovation programs up and running. When we created Connecta, our main driver was to create something that was simple and easy to use, and that fits most organizations' purposes and requirements. To start with, it's not only an internal use tool, but a place where to gather and create your own ecosystem. I always say that open innovation is like an ice cream shop. Everyone likes a different flavor, and you don't want the same every day. That's why Connecta allows you to be a proposer or a demander, and you can request or offer different things: technologies, R&D results, scientific and technical capabilities, and so on, in order to generate synergies among the contributions in the platform. It includes a matchmaking algorithm that connects the needs and the demands. Moreover, it allows you to launch, promote, and manage open innovation challenges, and it includes a search tool for funding programs that could support the R&D activities derived from your open innovation activities. And a quite important aspect, surely for all of you, is that it is absolutely open to any kind of innovative organization, and it is completely free to use. Sounds good, doesn't it? So remember, Connecta is your meeting point for open innovation. You can register and start to use Connecta by simply going online at conecta.corporaciontecnologica.com. There, you can launch open innovation challenges, find partners to innovate, or show your capabilities to others. And to finish, and to make it this brief, let me show you a short video about Connecta. Well, that was all from my side. Many thanks to you all for your attention, and I hope to see you around in Connecta.
Thank you, Fabian. So we are almost at the end of our webinar today. This is the question and answer session. So if any of you have any question that you may want to address to any of the speakers, please feel free to write it in the chat. We are here to support you, to help you to implement open innovation activities. So I don't know if anybody has any question. Otherwise, I don't know if Fabian or Herman have any question for
Yes,
Alberto,
Marta.
perhaps.
Yes, Marta, I have already raised my hand, but you cannot see it. So probably. My question is regarding the presentation made by Alberto, which was impressive, to be honest. And there was a lot of information there. I have tried to take some of the information you provided us, and it's clear that Iberdrola is taking many different actions regarding the energy transition that are of high added value. But my question is regarding specific fields regarding the energy transition that you think could be applied in the water energy nexus? What I've seen or what I have guessed is that of the 8 companies you have invested in, some of them, quite a few of them, are dealing with digitalization issues that I think are could be applied also in the water energy nexus. So I don't know if you have an idea of specific fields that you are most interested in working and if they are related to the water energy nexus. And above all, I would like to congratulate Iberdrola because of the great work you are doing regarding this aspect. At the same time, what do you expect from the companies you invest in? Thank you very much, Alberto.
Thank you very much. We are indeed quite active actually in that sense, because we've been only not engaged, in fighting climate change, but as well, promoting the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, right, from the United Nations, where we are directly collaborating with the SDG 7 and 13, but as well in the SDG 6 directly, which is the promotion of clean water for all, right. We've been very actively, because depending on the market, sometimes utilities are multi-utilities. They deal as well, with the water as part from the electricity. And a particular case, for example, for this is Qatar, where we have set our innovation center had actually the lack of being able to set this center where I was living in Qatar 7 years ago. So the experience we had from those markets where water is not that accessible, and actually and you are mostly coming from the desalination water, the plants and so on. No, it's not as easy as we have in the European regions. Is that it's really important to let's say to combine the security of supply of electricity in order to be able to maintain, let's say, a steady flow of water, let's say desalination and water supply. So that for that's really important, and being able to secure that electricity is very, very, very important. Sometimes in places or areas where you have a remote access, it's not that easy actually to have, let's say, a power plant that could be steady, and you are relying actually on, let's say, a small photovoltaic plants, or even hydraulic plant in rivers that need some kind of like a backup to secure that electricity to keep on running. So we are actually trying to explore those areas and to enhance our work actually in regions, for example, in Latin America, where we are active from Brazil. We are experiencing these problems in places where electricity is not that easy to reach and to access. So we are always exploring kind of like to promote this off grid connection platform, to enhance the water production and the water readiness. That said, one of the companies that we have in the portfolio, helping us on setting the foundations, of a steady economical, let's say, scenario for these projects to take off. It's very engaged in the conversation with us. So this is something that is really important to be promoted and to be managed.
Thank you very much, Alberto.
Thank you.
Okay, Alberto, I can see that there is a question in the chat for you. I don't know if you can see. To what degree would Iberdrola consider a solution for a challenge that closed last year? Okay, perhaps.
To what degree would Iberdrola consider a solution for a challenge that closed last year? Yeah, we are always active actually with the businesses and following up on, because this is something actually that is important to understand. The place where we are setting it is the corporate side of the business, where we have a direct connection with the chairman and with the chairman office, and all the let's say all the action that we take are strategically aligned with them, but as well downstream with the businesses heads. Where in the end, those pilots and those challenges are, materialized and implemented. So once a challenge is awarded, and we are, very happy connecting with the businesses, we need to think on a specific pilot and a specific country and a place where to test these technologies. And sometimes, we we would like to say that this is fast, but the reality is like sometimes, you know, the real market is like you have barriers and some boundaries to, let's say, to jump on to take over to that. So we are closing all the challenges that we have. We have more than 20 pilots actively, and the ones that, you know, are still nearly to an end, I mean, will be closed and will be actually for sure 100% done.
Thank you, Alberto. So Fabian, I see that you have your hand raised. So I don't know if you have any question.
Well, I had a question, and again, it's for Alberto. I hope you don't mind all questions coming to you. Basically, from your experience and also from what you show, I have seen other open innovation programs in other areas and other companies. What could you touch somehow in part of your presentation, but I would like to send a clear message to all of those who are listening that may think that open innovation is only for bigger companies, that those like you that have quite an important amount of money to invest, and how can they start this in a time and efficient manner?
Yeah, that's it. There is not, let's say, a manual, right, or a guidebook, I mean, for doing open innovation, depending markets and depending actually the company topology, right? This is done differently. What we do, for example, I mean, you can see companies that are promoting as well challenges and this kind of like open innovation based in with startups that, you know, they were as a price a certain amount of money for the startups. That could be a benefit from in some cases where, you know, there would be an injection of capital in the business in particular, but the case, for example, that we think actually that it could be of let's say a brighter benefit in the future and the medium term is, you know, not providing, you know, let's say a certain amount of capital, but you know, providing the access of, you know, a real case scenarios. And of course, I mean, all the pilots and all the actions are covered by us 100%. But you know, being able to test technologies, you know, within the field and the real, I mean, will help, you know, companies and startups to identify challenges and let's say and new scenarios that maybe they contemplated in the business case before, right? So this is actually a way of doing things, I mean, for us. There are different ways of doing so, but the most important thing actually is to keep always communications open and to let's say, as I was saying actually in the presentation, being flexible to adopt, you know, different scenarios or to shift to different strategies. I mean, you know, taking into a look, I mean, how the collaboration and how the interests are evolving. It's very important to be dynamic and to be able to adapt to those.
Okay, thank you so much, Alberto. So I cannot see further questions in the chat. So I think that we could perhaps finish here. We have completed the agenda on time, so I'm very happy about this. Thank you to all the speakers. So just before finishing our webinar today, we would like to ask you a few questions regarding the webinar. Are you happy with the webinar? Are you interested in other topics and so? So right now you should be seeing in the screen the questions and the potential answers. So please, if you could fill this brief survey, it would be really, really important for us. So there are some cards appearing in the screen. So we will be sending the presentations from the session today. And anyhow, if you have further questions about open innovation or the Conecta platform or the EERES4WATER project, please feel free to send us an email. We have shared the email addresses during the session today. And I think that's all from our side. So thank you, everybody, both the speakers and attendees. I hope this has been a very helpful session for you, a fruitful session. And thank you for being here today. Have a nice day then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.